The lonely chapter is something that you'll have heard spoken about a lot in the online business entrepreneurial space, and it's the difference between rejecting the old life that you used to live and the environment and the friends that you have, but not quite being in a new environment and with new friends who model the life that you want. And you're stuck in this kind of middle ground of loneliness. And I believe that having been stuck in that for 6, maybe 12 months now, I've come out the other side because I've solved the way to get out of the loneliness period. And I wanted to make this video for my old self, or for you watching this who's in this loneliness period, where I believe I have the answer as to how to get out of it. And I want to tell you a quick story, go into why I believe that and exactly how you can get out of this, because it is so horrible as an online business entrepreneur. So getting into the story of it is, for those who are new to the channel and new to me, I worked a 9 to 5 in London. I was middle class rugby guy, drinking all the time, like proper classic English guy who'd been to uni. And I then went to like Indonesia and Bali and met people who inspired me. Long story short, basically realized that they were working on what they want, with who they want, when they want, and where they want, like the 4 Ws. And then I was like, I want that life. So I started rejecting the 9 to 5. I did the 9 to 5 for a little bit, but all I could think about was how to leave. And then I started spending time with, I didn't want to be spending my time with people who were drinking the whole time. And I felt in this environment of the UK London life, and I'm sure you can relate to this, even if you're not from the UK, this kind of corporate, Western classic views of life. And I was like, okay, I want to leave this. So I rejected this. So I then got into this middle lonely area where I didn't have a load of entrepreneur friends. I wasn't hanging around people who were making money online, setting up business. I was in this middle ground. And that's where I existed for 12 months of the last 6 to 12 months. Incredibly lonely, incredibly isolating. Maybe this is relatable to you, of feeling like you don't have that support mechanism. And it's well spoken about in online business. But now I want to fast forward to this weekend that I've just had. Coming back to London, I have basically been able to scale my business to 145K in 130 days. And I've got I live kind of full time now in Bali, and I've got a great group of entrepreneurial friends. But that is not the solution to the lonely period. And that's what I've come to realize, having just spent a weekend in London with my friends who are part of my old environment, but I still get on with well, and they're still like, they're my childhood friends. I love spending time with them. And the reason that I've solved the kind of loneliness period and been able to go back into my old environment and be incredibly happy comes down to one singular thing. And this has been on my mind a lot, which is why I wanted to make this video. And I'm sure it's going to be useful for you if you're stuck in that loneliness period. Is the way to solve the loneliness, or let's talk about the reason why the loneliness period exists, because that helps with how to solve it and how to feel comfortable and happy in any environment you're in. Is the reason the lonely period exists is because of the insecurity that you feel in this group, because it's likely that in this environment, not only are you rejecting it, but it's rejecting you, because you might be talking about drinking less, or you might be talking about working at weekends, and you might be basically putting out values and ideas that don't align with this environment. And therefore it rejects you, because there's people who live in this environment who want to do that. There's people who want to get up on a Monday at 9 in the morning, or walk into their office at 9 in the morning and leave at 5. They want to do that 5 days a week, and then they want to go drinking on a Friday and Saturday. And that is what they want their life to be. And as soon as you start disagreeing with people in that, and you start really going hell to leather at it, then those people reject you, because you're basically telling someone that you don't like the life that they live. And that's what I was doing. I went hard on the fuck the 9 to 5, fuck drinking. And although I still believe that internally within me, I was very open and active about saying it. And that then pushed me into this lonely period, because you are basically telling the people in this other environment that they're living life wrong. And now I'm at the other side, I can see exactly, so that's the kind of reason that this lonely period exists, and you push yourself into the lonely period, and that's why that happens. And it all comes, if you really dig deep to it. I mean, this is what I did for myself, is if you really dig deep down at it, it comes from an insecurity in ourselves that we have picked, or we were in the wrong environment. You feel incredibly insecure that the late nights you're putting in, and the avoiding alcohol, and the activities that cause you to reject this life, they are basically, it gets you to the point where you're like, I don't know if this is right. Like, am I doing the right thing? So as soon as this environment then starts telling you that you're doing the wrong thing, you get super defensive about it. And I know what that's like. Like, I've been sat in groups with my friends, taking the piss out of me for getting no followers, taking the piss out of me for embarrassing myself on social media. And that environment then, that makes you feel insecure. Whereas now I've come out the other side, and now I'm, like incredibly happy with how the business is doing, like it's scaled quicker than I could ever imagine. I then came back to London and I was incredibly comfortable and secure in what I was doing, probably because of the fact that I had achieved financial success and that I then had the 4 Ws that I mentioned, and I have almost come out the other side of success, right? Like, I've not by no means wildly successful, but I'm starting to basically see some very good returns from the effort that I've put in. And I then came back to the environment that I was in, and you probably have this where you go back to the environment, and what you would have done in the past, and maybe you're in this now, is you would go back to that environment and people take the piss out of you, and you're like, oh, that really hurts, because like I don't feel security in what I'm doing. I'm insecure. I've not got the success. Whereas when I went back this weekend, people still said the exact same things to me. I literally had a friend go to me, let's play a game of how many likes Soul has got, and I was like, I don't care. Like, I just didn't care because of how secure I was in my new life. And all of this is to say that what I realized over the weekend is the lonely period exists because of the fact that you are fundamentally, or I was fundamentally insecure about whether I was doing the right thing, was rejecting this old environment good. And as soon as people took the piss out of me for doing it, it's like, shit, have I messed up here? Like, am I doing the wrong thing? And now I've come back and I have complete security in knowing that I've built an amazing life for myself and I'm building something I love doing. I can then go back into the old environment that I rejected and be like, it's fine. You guys do what you want to do. I do what I want to do. I'm secure in what I'm doing and I'm loving it. And you guys can also do what you want to do. And that is the solution to the lonely period, which seems incredibly simple, but it's to work through being secure in the path that you're on and not being insecure in the fact that you might be doing the wrong thing. Because as soon as you do that, when someone challenges you on it, it's like, okay, like, I'm very comfortable with you disagreeing with me. I'm very comfortable with you taking the piss out of me because it doesn't matter to me because I'm secure in what I do. And yes, it's easier for me to say this because of the fact that I've achieved success, but I wish I knew 6 months ago that instead of allowing those comments to get to me, I just felt security in what I was doing. And that is your solution to the loneliness epidemic that you might be in right now, or the lonely period that you're in, is work through that security, work through the journey that you're on and why you're doing it and where you want to be. Because it is about surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs. That does help. I'm not going to pretend that moving to Bali and that doesn't help. But what's really helped me, to be honest, is just waking up every day and knowing that I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm on the right path. Because then it doesn't matter what 9-to-5er who drinks every 3 days tells you, because you just go, cool, I don't want the life you want and you don't want the life that I want, and we can still sit and have a coffee or a non-alcoholic beer together and enjoy our time and enjoy the friendships and all that sort of thing without having to worry about this underlying tension that I'm atting you for your poor lifestyle and you're atting me for my lifestyle that you don't want. And all of that comes together and it makes you feel a lot less lonely. And at the end of the day, that's what you want, right? So thanks for watching.